It is 12:30. This is eNCA live to you from Johannesburg. Thank you very much for joining us. This is the story we're tracking for you at this hour.
Of course, we've heard that breaking news of tremors felt in various parts of Gauteng.
Right, we're hearing at this moment as well, our producers are telling us this quake was felt in Durban as well. Now that is rather a worrying prospect.
I was sitting at my desk when everything started shaking. We all got up, looked out the window, everyone started running out of the office, and yeah, it maybe lasted about 5 seconds.
We were sat at our desk working, and we noticed that the filing tray to the right of the screen monitor was moving, and I thought maybe my chair was rocking the desk, realised my chair wasn't, and then stood up and felt the whole building move sideways.
We were hoping to bring you visuals live inside this house on Maramule Street, one of the two houses that we've shown you visuals of today. The owner, Anna Malato, is beside us here, of course distraught at the fact that her house now stands on the brink of destruction. But yes, as we were preparing for this live, there was an aftershock, a slight tremor that we felt beneath our feet, and EMS services on the scene deciding that it was unsafe for any media, any EMS personnel or any residents of the Kuma area to enter any of the houses that have been affected by this earthquake. Just having a look behind me here, you can see that the foundations as well as the actual structure of the house has been affected by this earthquake. You see bricks laying strewn across the floor here. One of the pillars that were as part of the entrance to the household, of course, also being dislodged there. We're just going to the house that's on the corner now and showing you some of the visuals in the backyard. You can see the bricks falling off the actual structure of the house. That was the bricks used to hold up the roof and the ceiling, and this house, of course, also being cordoned off to the public, being cordoned off to the media and EMS services. They're walking around with their helmets. They were going to enter the house to ascertain the damage a little bit more, but they've now called that mission off. They've decided to remain outside at least until they get better information on these aftershocks that are occurring intermittently as we bring you live visuals from Kuma.
So the quake's epicenter was in Orkney, but tremors could be felt in Durban, the Eastern Cape, southern points of Botswana, and of course on social media. In Durban, office workers posted photos of evacuations. Then CCTV footage from a Johannesburg restaurant went viral. And it wasn't long before humour prevailed, until the news broke of a fatality. But while we were poring over social media, seismologists were monitoring data from their testing stations of South Africa's biggest earthquake in 40 years.
Windows in my office were rattling just about an hour ago when this event was taking place. This earthquake is quite big, but there will be other big ones to come. We don't know where, we don't know when.
It's not the first time Orkney has been hit by an earthquake. Experts believe that while tremors are usually caused by movements in the Earth's tectonic plates, mining is also a factor. So it's been essentially 3 hours now since the first earthquake, and the seismogram says there's still earthquakes going on right this very moment.
That is correct. These earthquakes are smaller than the main shocks, so we call them aftershocks. So they'll be probably continuing for the next couple of days, if not months.
In the event of future serious earthquakes, authorities advise people to exit buildings and find safety in open spaces.
What happened was that there was a slip along a particular fault. The northern block, it was a vertical fault or near vertical fault, and the northern block moved about 10 centimeters to the east. And that is consistent with the way Southern Africa is being pulled apart by the forces associated with the southern part of the East African Rift System. So that's what happened. It was about 10,000 times larger than the average mine tremor, which is about a magnitude 2.5, 3.
10 centimeters. That's how much the Earth's tectonic plates shifted during Tuesday's quake. This is not unusual, but more than a century of digging for gold has caused underground drainage problems, prompting seismologists to call Johannesburg a sinkhole.
It was waiting to happen at some stage, but in some way the human intervention in the form of mining brought it forward.
The deeper we dig, the more water we hit. When mines are abandoned, the pumps are turned off. Over time, the shafts will fill with water, which mixes the particles of metal in the soil, creating an acid mine water. This has a pH of about 3, which is similar to lemon juice, essentially. And when acid water floods the joins in the Earth's crust, it increases seismic activity and triggers tremors.
This particularly large earthquake maybe has another cause in combination with mining, and that is plate tectonics.
For seismologists to be able to state conclusively that these earthquakes are caused by mining, they need to prove that earthquakes didn't take place in the area before miners started digging, and that historical data doesn't exist. Nonetheless, the Treasury has allocated 225 million rand over the next 2 years to clear water out of Gauteng's gold mines.
We bring you live visuals now from one of the houses that were affected by the 5.5 quake that happened about 20 past 12 yesterday afternoon. As you can see, bricks falling from this outside toilet during the quake yesterday. Members of the community also removing loose bricks and mortar early on this morning to ensure that that no passers-by were perhaps struck by any falling debris post the quake. And this is pretty much the story for the entire Marumele street that we're on now. This is just but one of very many houses that have been affected by the earthquake. Structural damage as well as other damage that these structures have sustained. To give you an idea of how bad the structural damage is, just having a look at this door. We've got an attempt to close it here, and things have shifted so badly that you cannot even close the door now. This is really the most visible signs yet of how the earthquake affected structures in and around Kuma, which is about 6 kilometers from Orkney. We're standing now in the epicenter of this earthquake.
As far as the earthquake and mining is concerned, we must agree that life has to go on. Part of the economic activities that are happening in South Africa is mining. However, we have a responsibility to make sure that mining and other sectors of the economy do not pose a threat to human life.
You deserve to know more.
eNCA.com.